Hey guys, I'm Kira, this is Fangirl Flails, and today we are finally flailing about the books I read in January 2015. Finally getting into the new year. Let's go! The very first book that I read this year was one that I was sent from NetGalley in exchange for an honest review, and that is Sparrow 59 by Devin Ashley, which is about a specialized team of CIA agents who originally were street kids, and then the CIA took them and turned them into secret agents. Drew and Samantha are teammates who are undercover as a married couple, and they are, surprise, secretly in love, and have been ever since they met at the academy where they learned to become secret agents. But their happy domestic lives are interrupted when Drew gets taken and the rest of Sparrow, except Samantha, are killed. She searches for him, but everyone in the CIA thinks that they had something to do with the murders. And while Sam believes that Drew had nothing to do with this, events start to happen and she soon starts to question everything she believes in. This is very much a wonderful new adult book that perfectly combines Mr. and Mr. Smith and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with realistic, vulgar humor thrown in. There's something for everyone in here. Action, humor, romance, mild sexy times, and more action. For fans of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., this is basically a Skyward alternate universe fic. You've got your kick-ass heroine who grew up in foster homes, who's always aware of her surroundings and eventually learns to fight. Then you got your brooding, muscly guy who is in complete awe of our smart, resourceful, kick-ass heroine, but eventually goes rogue anyway. Take Skye's computer skills and give them to Ward, and you've got Sam and Drew. And yes, a very, very big cliche is used in this book, but I'm not gonna spoil it. Just know that it's cheesy, but it's kinda cute all the same. I ended up giving Sparrow 59 4 stars. And then the only physical book that I have that I read in January was Scott Pilgrim Gets It Together, Volume 4 by Brian Lee O'Malley. The only thing I really have to say about this volume is that it should be renamed Scott Pilgrim and the Stereotypical Descriptions. Even so, I gave it a 3-star rating on Goodreads, even though it's more of a 2.5, but I guess nostalgia? And then I read Unmade by Sarah Reese Brennan, which is the third and final book in the Lindbergh Legacy series, which is one of my favorite series I've ever read, let alone finish, which isn't really saying much because I don't read or finish a lot of series. But I mean, the first and second book did show up on my best of 2014 list, so that says something probably. I've explained this series countless times and even have a full video review of the first book up that you can click on. The first 2 books in this series were perfect and everything I wanted from a YA paranormal series, but this third book left kind of a bad taste in my mouth. The first half of Unmade was so tension-filled and awesome, even though it gave me anxiety, but let's be honest, everything gives me anxiety. Angela and Holly are my everything, and they almost make up for that lackluster ending. Okay, maybe lackluster isn't the right word. It just didn't feel right. Now, without giving spoilers, I wasn't comfortable with the implication that a certain character wasn't fully consenting to what happens to them in the end. Sarah Reese Brennan tries so hard to insert feminism into her writing, and it was almost completely unproblematic. But I guess nothing's perfect. I still gave this book around 4 to 4.5 stars because other than the moral questions that the ending brings up, it was still so immersive and action-packed and, like I said, almost totally unproblematic and so feminist and female-friendly, and Tammy is just such a great character, and I want everyone to read this series. And then I read Wonder Woman Volume 5, Flesh by Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang. I'm gonna be real honest here and admit that I don't remember anything about this volume. I assume it was enjoyable because right after reading it, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, so we're just gonna go with that and say that it was enjoyable. At this point, all of these comics are kind of melding together. I don't remember what is in what volume because I've been reading one a month and it's just a lot. I'm still really liking this series. It is very entertaining. And finally, I read Embroideries by Marjane Strappi, the author of Persepolis. And this was by far the most interesting book that I read in January. Like Persepolis, this is a graphic memoir about Marjane's life in Iran. Embroideries, however, is more about the women in her life than herself. It takes place during an afternoon tea when all of the neighborhood women are gathered around chatting about love and sex. It was funny and surprising and shocking because I didn't know that much about Iranian culture, to be quite honest. It really showed me what kind of biases and ideas I held about non-Western culture and sex. I will warn that although the format of this is light and fun, as it is a graphic memoir about women gossiping about weird-looking penises, it is also very dark. Not because of the arranged marriages or the focus on virginity or anything else that I had in my head about foreign culture and their ideas about sex, but because they talk so frankly about human nature. And there is a lot of talk about women getting the short end of the stick when it comes to sex. And I remember it being dark enough for me to think that it could be triggering, that I might want to put a trigger warning on this review, but I don't remember if it touches on the subject of rape. So just be aware, it's not graphic, but they do talk openly and frankly about the nature of sex and different kinds of sex and what happens and all sorts of things like that. But as I said, it's so interesting and it's quote-unquote relatable if you're into that kind of thing. And it was just a really great quick read. And that is all I read for the month of January. Let me know what you guys read in the start of the year in the comments below. If you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye! I am going to flail about the books that I could possibly be reading in February.